There it is. Recording. Sound is recording, Remy. Desktop is recording. So I want to put some music real quick. And you guys can talk, by the way. Yeah? This is not like, okay, nobody talks. I'm just going to talk. You guys can add to it or not. And I like to say that today I didn't even make any money and TSM was prime. But I feel very good. I'm very proud of that I do feel like it's his play, right? It has Benny's name on it. But I do feel that somehow he stumbled into that kind of setup because he's been on the VIP room and he knows what we look for, and that's one, right? That's one of them. So but it doesn't stop me from making me feel what's it called, proud. Yeah, definitely proud. So yeah, he messaged me with that chart, and I was like, "Let me join," but I was on my bed. I was not gonna join the play on my phone, man. There's no, I don't know how people do it, man. I was like, I saw the chart, and you gotta go to the option chain, and then you gotta go back to the charts. It's still, if it's still good, see if the bid and ask is moving. Like I over here on the computer, I'm changing my order 3 times before I get in. Sometimes I'm not going in with market orders most of the time, and well, I don't know how you do it on the phone, but anyway, not my style. But that's why I stay away. And who cares? I could have made, I don't know what size would have gone in. What's today? Wednesday? No, today's Thursday, right? Let me see. No, today's Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. So no, yeah, I would have got with a little bit of size because the it's whenever I'm not very worried about Theta decay and all the stuff. By the way, welcome Andy, and you're welcome to talk to everybody, everybody, and I would love to for you guys to talk. So I'll walk you guys through some of the morning routine. The Actually, let's go back a little more. The day before the trading day, before the session at night, doing a little bit of homework at night, and you guys know that we use the Strat scanner. I'm gonna share it to you right here. This is the longest link, but it's gonna be posted on discussions right here. And it takes a little bit of to load. It only works after the market has closed, and you need the data to be updated. So you gotta make sure if you see a setup here, that you go back to the charts and it's the setup and it's not like a prior day setup where the data did not update. So you gotta make sure that data is updated. It tells you right there when the data is current, right? It says current, 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 current. Uh, but it don't. I wouldn't trust it either. Just go back. You see a an inside candle, and if you go to the charts, it's not an inside candle. Then, and it was yesterday. Then it means it's outdated, right? So over here you have a bunch of tabs. You guys know this. This is basically based a lot on the strat, and you guys can go over this. It has a ton of different stuff that is very useful. Event sectors, weights, and the scans inside the sectors as well, the strat combos, all the stuff, right? But the most important part that I look for, like once you know what this website is about, what the scanner is, it's a Google Doc. It's made by no way. Did Rod Smith die? Hold on. Hold on, guys. 3 years ago. I didn't know Rod Smith died. No way. No way. 3 years ago? Nah, there's no way. He's been doing videos. Hold on. There's no. Spider. Just no, he just I'm pretty sure he just gave a I saw one of his live presentations last year. This is his website, by the way. If you guys are more interested on the strat, this is the Sepia, whatever Sepia group, however you say the name. I don't know how to pronounce it, but they have a lot of the live commentary and a lot of lessons. A lot of lessons. It's a pay membership and it displays, and I think it's like $200 a month. I don't think it's needed, to be honest. There's a course. I don't think it's needed. You can find a lot of stuff on YouTube that explains it, and it's very basic to me. It seems this stuff is very basic. You need to understand broader informations, which is basically trend lines that are going opposite directions. Like they're broadening out, right? And with that in mind, you use kind of the strat combos, which are like inside candles, outside candles, two down, two ups, and you can find that on this little tab that says right here. So this is a little bit of bread and butter, but I think like the general idea of these candles is mostly like if you take a prior candle highs or prior candle lows, the 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 direction heading towards the, let's say you're in a downtrend, right? You take a prior day's highs. So in the old days, you would only look for any, like whenever there was a pit and all the outcry pits and everything, they would just like look at closing prices, right? So or highs of the day. So if you take a prior day's highs, it would mean like, okay, we're going for higher prices. This is where we topped out yesterday. We're going above it. We're going for higher prices. Now the market has evolved, so it's a little bit different, but you can still see it on the chart sometimes, right? Where the faction or whatever you want to call it, the team that is heading towards the break of the extreme direction is taking over, meaning breaking prior day highs or breaking prior day lows. But you still gotta combine this with where you are on the chart, and we'll see, right? It's not exactly like, okay, any inside candle is gonna work. Any down to up, two down to up is gonna work. It doesn't work like that. You still gotta be somewhere on the chart where you want to take this trade, right? This is where we come in with favorite tracements, daily 20 MAs, a channel, a trend line, somewhere where you think like, okay, there's a chance for us to go back. Now I have the setup. Let's see if it triggers, and let's get in. And we're gonna use actually a TSM example on Venice that you just did. We're gonna use the SMCI example that Bucloud did, and I like to, if you members come in with trades that they use work from learnings from what you guys learn here on the VIP. It's just I think it serves for better understanding, because I know that at least those members that pull off those trades know what they see, right? And for everything else, I'll just look at other stuff, right? But I will love for everybody to come in with a setup like that. So most importantly, right here on the strat combos, the my favorite ones, and like I said, they're almost all the same to me, are there's gonna be the inside candle. Where are you? What are you? Bearish reversal. Okay. I don't exactly see it, but inside candle means that you're inside the prior day range. That's very basic, right? You have a candle, you're inside the prior day range, and the next day you break out of it. So kind of like any of these are inside candles, but they are what's it called? You can see a candle before that has a range, so something like that. This is a 2-1-2 up bullish reversal. So there was a down candle, an inside candle inside that. So once you break the highs of it, you broke the inside candle. You try to aim for a break of the outside candle highs. So that's what it is. So a lot of to me, inside candles means that there's price compression, and I see price as kind of energy, right? I wish you guys could see my hands. There is energy, right? Price is energy, and whenever you compress it, you're gonna expand it, right? So, in other words, like you're gonna consolidate and then you're gonna distribute, however you want to call it. But I just like to see it as a compression of energy, which is gonna unload in certain direction. And inside candles is a very powerful way to spot it. Right? It's just like whenever people see descending triangles or a wedge, racing wedge, or there's just price compression and then it does the release, right? So inside candle is a way, and my favorite is whenever you have a double inside candle, because you're compressing even more. So you can think of it like a spring, and that's what we had on TSM, right? We'll go back to this website, but just to give you as an example, TSM right here. This is what Benny sees, right? So right off the bat, we know that this move is coming in from earnings, right? We have an earnings gap up, so we know that the it's a bullish reaction. We know that we're getting some up momentum on it. So what we're gonna be looking for is to see if there's a setup for continuation, and the setup is right here. Like, not because you went green on the earnings day doesn't mean that. I mean, to me, right? To me, it doesn't mean like, oh, we're not gonna keep going forward, right? What if we just stay stagnant right here? But then the setup comes in right here. This candle makes a high that breaks the prior candle high, so everything is normal, right? It doesn't break the low, breaks the high, but the next candle does not break the high, so it already hits the scanner, and right, and at that point, if you're interested on this daily on this inside candle, the setup only calls for an outside candle high, which is this, like it's nothing, right? 1 cent, but you still want to go in and put an alert right there, right? This is the way I set up my alerts. Well, it already triggered, but this way I set up my alerts, and then I set an alert on the bottom of it. The next day does comes in, and you don't get a trigger. You go check the scanner, and then you're gonna see that it's a double inside day. So now you go back down and put your alert about this highs and about this low. Now this is where this is another part of pulling out. This is finding the setup, the double inside candle. This is finding the setup. Now, having conviction on the trade comes in from how we open on the next day. And I'm gonna go over this a little bit later. How we open on what does the overnight do? Where you open, and in relation to the prior day, what do you hold, and what makes you hold this trade into the next for the rest of the day? Okay, but as of now, just keep in mind, inside candles are good. Double inside candles are even better. Okay, some of our best trades like Lowe's. There was one on Home Depot. Lowe's hit 1,000% plus or something, and they came in from double inside candles. It was at the right place, not exactly like this, but it was at the right place. And you can even go back to something like the weekly chart. Just go check, like even if you didn't know there was earnings, right? You see this weekly trend on the above the daily weekly 20. I'm sorry. You see this mega weekly candle that we had on the prior day, and before this push of today, the weekly candle was sitting up to right here. So you know that the weekly candle range up to Wednesday, up to that moment that you saw this setup, is still small. Because remember that weekly candles tend to have a certain range. Sometimes they're small, something like this. Sometimes it's large, something like this. But at least you'll find an average candle. If you were to combine everything, and you don't even need to calculate it, you just need to look at some regular size candle that is not too small, not too big, that you see multiple times. Okay, this is a regular size candle, right? On the weekly range. And this is not even, you should expect even a little more because it's just post earnings, right? So we already know that we can go above, I'm sorry. We still do not meet that weekly candle range. So at some point on the week, we can actually go even higher, right? So at this point, the candle is up to here, and later on, you have all this much to go for an average weekly candle, so you can go even higher, right? And even plus that. So keep that in mind. Do you see the possibility of the stock going higher? That's a question, right? Do you see the setup, and then do you see the right conditions on pre-market? That's how you day trade it. And this tick all the boxes. This tick all the boxes right here. It's pretty amazing, Benny. Find more stuff like this. This is gonna, like, a lot of people actually sometimes they what's it called, there's a lot of, I guess, resent, or how can we call it, like, you missed a lot of FOMO, right? Or you're pissed off because you missed the trade. There's something like TSM. I didn't join TSM. There was a double inside candle, easy money. I couldn't take it. Blah blah blah. Man, you know how many times we've spotted something like this? You know how many times this happens? Plenty, enough of times. So don't get too hung up on you missed a trade like this, because you're gonna find another one, man. You're gonna find something similar. You're gonna find they pop in all the time. That's how the market sets up, right? That's an example right there. So keep it in mind that put it on your books, double inside candles, and where you are on the chart, and if you can make it, right? You have the catalyst, you have the compression, and you have the expansion. Now, I do think this one is overextended, right? You guys don't see me take really a lot of trades that are far from the daily 20. But I know this is coming in from an earnings gap, and it has a positive reaction, and it has the setup of compression. So that's all it needs. That's all it needs, right? Have you found, if you found this setup um, somewhere right here, right? Not holding the daily 20, stuff like that, dancing around it. It's just, I don't think I would convince to take it, right? Because it's just a different place on the chart. It's a different place, and it's not one for me to go for, right? If it's not the right conditions. So we got that. Let's go back to the website real quick. I need to know if Rod Smith is still alive. I don't know. Anyway, the two down, two up strat reversals, and the two up, two down, so meaning vice versa, like opposite from each other, are also part of the bread and butters of this of our place. Let me go back a little bit to the alerts to see if I can spot something that we play like that. But it's very simple, right? You have a, it's almost like an inside candle, but the candle took out an extreme. So, and this helps a lot if there was already a downtrend. So you know that there was like a multiple candles that were coming down, right? Something like this, I guess, something like this. Multiple candles coming down, and then you have a day that took out the lows and set up like a smaller candle than the other one. It doesn't have to be smaller, but it just sets another candle. The next candle comes in and takes out the high. You know, it has the right pre-market and it takes out the high. Then you can start looking at a reversal. That's when you can start looking at a reversal. Like that will be the first candle to start reversing this whole move. Sometimes we have this setup has failed. Right? Even inside candles have failed before, right? But the uh, the most important thing is also like just like inside candles, the where you are on the chart, right? Daily 20 and whatnot. So let me see here on the. I think it was on AMD that we have something like that. Hold on, let me see. So, okay, right. So I guess from what I see right here, it's something like this, right? This is a little bit hard to see, but basically you're on a downtrend. You take out the prior day highs. This one actually, I guess you could say it didn't work. It worked until the next day. But I would like to see, look, like this candle held the daily 20, right? So the next day you're gapping up into the upper third of the range. And this is what triggers the two on two up once you break this high. And you know that there's a gap fill. So AMD right here presents an upside trade at this point. What is this? 1.8? Do we have a trade in that one? Because it looks like yeah. We took it the next day, actually. We took it on the ninth. We actually took AMD on the ninth. And did we take it on the 8th? No, we didn't take it on the 8th. But we took the continuation. So that one worked, and the prior day would have been a lot better. But I wish I had a pretty good setup on this that I know. Let me see. Yeah. We play Zim right here. This is what I'm talking about. Okay. You see the multiple candles down. One. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. There's this thing called one-time framing. One-time framing means that every next candle, it's either one-time framing up or one-time framing down, and this one is one-time framing down, meaning that every candle consecutively has a lower high. Does not break the prior day high. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 candles like that. So you have like the downtrend, right? And and you spot that this is recovering from a downtrend like this into the daily 20, means like it's not overextended anymore. It's time to take it, right? So the next day you're gapping up about the prior candle highs, and then you come in at the beginning of the session to tag the prior day's highs and bounce. That's a long, right? So we had that setup right there because it was a two down, two up. If you go to remember the I'm gonna post this. I'm gonna look for it real quick. Let me Control F Zim. Okay. 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 Right here, I see the. Remember the I thought we caught it on the first candle, but we took the continuation up. So we didn't catch this candle. I guess it was not on my radar when it happened, but we took the continuation of it because I know this is recovering from a weekly downtrend. I know this is into the day, bounce from the daily 20. I know that this most likely clear the 618 retracement on the daily. Yeah, this daily candle cleared the 6.5% retracement on the daily, so the odds are very high that we're gonna hit this high. So that was a setup that's basically a two down, two up after one time framing down into the daily 20 MA. And I believe it was also a favorite retracement bounce on the daily. Yeah. So basically, from this range upward, we basically held the 50% retracement of this push higher. So all that combined, how many boxes did we take right there? We held the 50% retracement of the last run up. We held above the daily 20. We have a one-time framing breakout. We cleared this candle above the 6.5% retracement. And the next day is opening on a gap up and tags the prior day highs and close and then goes up, right? So your entry on stuff like this, it gapped up. You don't want to take a lot of the gaps. If you take it right here, right at the open, you're gonna have to um, eat the pain into the prior day highs or the prior day's close and see what's up. But if you wait, if you're patient and manage to get this entry, it's even better, right? And I think that's what happened. I don't remember exactly, but we took it somewhere around this area, and you can see what happens on the next multiple days, which netted a 600% gainer. So you have to see how far of the contract you're gonna take and everything. But at least for the setups that you're gonna take, this is it, right? So you have a lot of boxes sticking right here. 50%. Let me see. One time framing break. 2, 6.5% is on the 3. Daily 20 minute hold. So at least 4 boxes are ticking right here. So that's if you have a criteria of five boxes, right, for your trade. It depends on how you trade, depends on your system or whatever, but you have a criteria of 5 boxes. You click in 4 of them click. They don't have to click all 5. You have an A setup, right? An A rank setup. You have 5, all of them 5 ticking. You have an A plus setup, so and so forth, right? So you gotta rank your setups because you're supposed to, and this is up to anyone, right? You're supposed to bet higher on those A plus and bet less on the C minus, the B minus setups. And this is why it's very important for you guys to understand this, because if I go into a trade, you may not know if you should be sized up more or less. You got to see it on your eyes. You gotta know the why. You gotta have conviction for that trade, right? Because I may not. I may not have that conviction. I may go for a small size and I still make money, but try to be careful, right? You don't size up like I don't. I think a lot of people say like, oh, you gotta size up the same way for every bet, and I don't think that's the way. I think you gotta do differently, right? Hit, how do you say, swing harder, right? Swing the bat harder. If you think you're gonna hit a home run, right? That's the aim. You don't swing it hard every single time. It depends how it's coming, right? But it's like a split second decision. So anyway, um, this is an example of 2 down, 2 up, and I believe Tesla has the opposite, the 2 up, 2 down. So somewhere over here, right? Let me see. Says discussions, the fractal loser talk. I swing my home runs every time. Yeah, no, you don't swing with home runs every time. I guess to put as an example, just a simple example, there's a lot of 2 downs, 2 ups, 2 downs. You'd rather take them on a downtrend, but I'll give you an example on Tesla. There's a lot of lines right here. Let me clear this setup right here. Clear, try, and set. Just as an example, right? You have gone up like this, and you have a break. You're going up. I guess one time framing higher, up, 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 and then when that ends, whenever none of these candles are one time framing higher, it's not even the highs. It's mostly about the lows. The low of the next day is higher than the lows of the prior day, and then you have the first day that takes out the prior candle lows right there. So looking at this on the chart, like trying to ignore everything that happened after, right? Just looking at this from here to here. I know that Tesla, I'll give you an example right here. I know that Tesla had a gap fill right here. So a lot of the times, this upside was only to repair structure, if you want to say, an inefficiency, right? We know that from the weekly trend, if you anchor your weekly fibs like this, the whole move, you know that you're closing candles below the 65% retracement. You know that there's a rejection right there. So, and you remember, we don't know what is this candle or this other candle. And also we know that we're extended from the daily 20 MA. Okay, so we have one, two, three boxes ticking right there. Okay, so what happens on the next day is that you break four boxes. I'm sorry, because you also know that you're one time framing up for the last 3 or 4 candles. The next day is you break the low for the first time. So this is when you can enter short. You can enter a short trade, and my aim will be to go for the daily 20 right here, right? Which it did happen, but it happened until the next day. So it's all depending how you manage a trade. Like if at this point, if I enter a trade when it broke this low right here, and I am not up 100% plus, right? There's no way I'm probably gonna swing runners into this, right? I will have to have risk off, because I wouldn't be super convinced that this is gonna go touch it. But you have that, right? You have extended from the daily 20, so possible test of the daily 20 and possible gap fill, because there's another gap in between right here. Okay, so you have all that. This was a repair. This is still a rejection on their bearish fib retracements. There's I guess a resistance right here when you see this candle low, what you would call like a fair value gap or something. It was almost filled, rejected, one time framing over into daily 20 MA. So you got yourself a trade right there, right? So okay, so I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know, right? If I'm just talking a lot of gibberish, because I know all this terminology, right? It only rings if you know about it from beforehand, right? What is daily 20, a fib, a gap, a freaking 2 down, 2 up, stuff like that. Okay. Another example of this will be something like this. You are one time framing for 1, 2, 3, 4 candles. You break the first low right there. That's a short. Boom. You're one time framing 1, 2, 3, 4 candles. Break the low, short. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, everyone? Just no, maybe. I don't know. Can you repeat that? No, I'm just kidding. It's everybody watch them all come in the middle. So that's the idea, right? So just as we can spot the 2 downs, 2 ups, we can spot the 2 ups, 2 downs, right? Same way, but opposite way. Kind of like this. One time framing down, first candle that breaks the prior candle highs, long. One time framing up, first candle that breaks the prior candle lows, short. So forth and so forth. Okay, but this works better if you're one time framing for at least 2 to 3 candles, right? And that you have a good place on the chart. For shorts, you will like, if you're above the daily 20 for shorts, you want to be overextended from the daily 20. For longs, you will have to be close to the daily 20 if you're above, and vice versa if you're lower, right? If you're coming lower. So if you are going long below the daily 20, like if you're not on an uptrend, you will like to see the you would like to see to be extended from the daily 20, so you can at least aim it. So something like this, like if Tesla's gonna have earnings, so this is not valid, right? Because the move is gonna be from earnings report. Just try to ignore that it's an earnings report. This one right here will be one time framing for two candles. See, let's see for any reason we get a third one, or even two is fine, right? But you get a candle, the next candle breaks the prior candle highs like this, you're extended from the daily 20, you can start aiming for that, right? Something like that. So obviously Tesla's not valid right now during earnings, but that's the way. And for shorts below the daily 20, you want to be close to it, right? Close to it, something like how is close right here, right? When the setup's like, I don't see a setup at two down, two up right here, but at least what I'm saying right here is I have to be close right here to it. So now you get it, right? Longs above has to be close to the daily 20. Longs below has to be far from the daily 20. Shorts above has to be far. Shorts below has to be close. Does it make sense? We on the same picture? I'm assuming yes, guys. I'm gonna move on. Oh, Putzpari, you are can you chat on the on discussions so I can see you, so I can see your chat. I just noticed that you, yeah, Trading View, as he's putting it, Trading View has an indicator that will tell you the two downs, two ups, stuff like that. The strat, there's indicators that show you the strat candles. Because I'll give let me give you a little more. What do the numbers mean? Just so people, this is, you should already know this, but if you're being a member of the VIP, but what do the numbers mean? There's only three type of candles that you can have on the chart in relation to the prior candle. Only three type of candles. It's crazy, right? But I mean, it's as basic as it is. Number one candle is inside. I don't know if you notice on this example, this one is inside. Inside, that's why it has a number one candle. And a number, it just means that it stays below, I mean, inside the prior day range, below the prior day's highs and above the prior day lows. Okay. A number two candle is a directional. It can be either up or down. So a number two candle is one that took out the prior day highs or prior day lows. In a number three candle, it's a candle that takes out the prior candle highs and lows. That's the numeration. You can only have three type of candles in relation to the prior candle that you're looking at. You usually want to see only at the this on the daily perspective, in my opinion. But this is in all time frames, right? Just like any other setup. But um, but yeah, the that's the number. That's how you read the numbers, and knowing that, you can start looking for the setups, right? What is that? Two down, two up, or two up, two down. You know, it's on the name, right? A two up, two down means that it went up first and it went down later. A two down, two up, it's went down first and then we're going up later. That's why we're looking at a reversal like that. So I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but that's what we're looking at right there. When you Now this is something. This is something from me. This is something that I guess I've come up with a little bit, because the strat has been there by Rob Smith for a long time, right? I incorporated it to my trading style. I don't really use their criterias for the trading criterias for the setups. I mean, to me, I take a little bit of information from what resonates with me, and this is what resonates. And but to be like, I kind of look at the market and try to do a little bit of a statistical approach, not even without even doing I guess, I don't know if it's back tests or looking at past data and all this stuff. It's just by being present on the market, I can tell you that, I mean, I'm just gonna throw a number out there, man. 75 to, even, I don't know. I think it's 80% higher, 80% plus of the time. You're gonna have a two directional candle. Inside candles and even outside candles are rare, right? They don't happen that often. and especially if you're on a trend, right? So most of the time you're gonna have a directional candle. So whenever, that's why we pay attention a lot to the inside candles, because whenever we have an inside candle, it means we have some kind of anomaly, some kind of a not of a higher currents on the market, right? Not of a higher currents on the market, and you take advantage of it to see where you are on the chart. Like I can tell you right here on the Tesla chart that this already has an a double inside candle as of today. Like today's session is still inside prior day range, and this one is inside over here. So this is compressing. I mean, I guess you can draw a little bit of trend lines if you want, if it helps you better shapes and forms. This is definitely compressing, and it makes sense because we're coming into earnings. Where is it going from here? That's be my guest. I don't know. That's up to the earnings. I um, I don't want to give you a directional trade right now, but I do think like there's a lot of risk reward right now if you go to the long side because of this downtrend, right? So this has a lot of sellers, and if by any chance there's a surprise, it's not gonna go up by a little bit. It's gonna go up by plus more because of the how many times this has been selling for how long, right? For how long it has been selling. So try to use that for your advantage and all this stuff. Um, Next up, what do we? Yeah. So yeah, you just look at any chart, you're gonna see a lot of most of the candles are gonna take the prior candle highs or lows, right? So let's go back to the website, and I'm putting a lot of connotation to the website because it's part of the prior day routine to find this stuff, right? Because the tabs right here, we'll see this daily news does not mean you're gonna get daily stock market news, right? Daily updates of upgrades, downgrades, and whatever. I don't know. It's I don't know why it's named like that, but it's basically the news setups, I guess, and they're on the daily chart. And you got the ones on bullish, and you want the ones on bearish right here. Now, I don't want you to think that just because it's on the bullish scanner, you should be looking at it for the upside. Or just because it's on the bearish scanner, you should be looking at it for only the downside. Because both scanners, both tabs will have inside candles, but both tabs will not will it falls into the bullish category because the month is green. That's it. That's the only reason. It falls into a bearish category because the month is red. That's the only reason. But are we really do we really have that setup? Like you just don't go in and buy or short whatever just because it's on the scanner. You still have to go to the chart and see if you're in an optimal place, you have the right pre-market and everything else. Okay. So let's go to the daily news bullish. And if you see the tab right here, it says weekly news bullish, weekly news bearish, monthly news bullish, monthly news bearish, quarterlies, yearly, you know. So all the stuff, right? From the daily all the way to yearlies. Reality, you only wanted to be looking at it on the daily, and on Fridays you go in to look at the weekly. Sometimes in between the week, you may have missed something on the weekly, and you want to go back to it to see if there's something right there. But at least on the daily, after the market closes, give it a 2 to 3 hours for this to update, and you'll see, you'll find what you need right here. So going back to the daily news tab on the bullish side, you're gonna see a lot of information right here. You're gonna scroll down. You can look at it. A lot of people that use this strat use this information. I don't necessarily. If you find a niche, be my guess. It'll tell you if there's time frame continuity right here, like if the daily's up, the weekly's up, if the monthly's down, quarterly down, yearly down. So this is on the energy sector. So we know this actually makes perfect sense. What are we seeing lately on these last 2 days on energy? They're having a rebound, right? So the month has been down because we know it was in a downtrend. The quarter has been down because it's this month is the beginning of the quarter, right? And the year is down because we just started the year. We know that. And the weekly and the daily is up because we know this week has been a rebound week for energy. So all this helps you, right? So this is only on the sector XLE, XLF, XLI. So you can see the sector right here, right? It kind of helps some people like, okay, if the weekly continuity is green, I should probably be looking for weekly setups on the same sector, right? Or something like that, or daily setups, to still be going to the upside. If you have And if everything matches up, then that's, I mean, I don't use it this way, but this, for people that use the strat, something like communications right here: yearly up, quarterly up, monthly up, weekly up, daily up. You have time frame continuity on all the boxes, right? On healthcare as well, on technology as well, on consumer staples as well, right? So you got that on the I don't necessarily, but I just wanted to show you guys what it is. And then you have the ETFs updates right here that are not exactly the spiders ETFs, and then you have the index right here. So you have this information about the index, the ETF, and the tickers. I'm sorry, the spider sectors. So going back down over here, this is where you're gonna see a lot of tabs, a lot of tabs, a lot of tabs right here. So my focus, you can look at all the tickets right here, all the tickets right here, but my focus will always be, and these two rows, these two columns. I think rows are sideways. I don't row columns or rows. I don't remember. And these three right here at the end. In between, I don't really use a lot because there's mostly about possible outside week, hammer day, Momo hammer, rev strike hammer. I don't really use those, right? So I don't. This is for outside candles, right? Outside candles. This is a number three candle, number three. So I don't really use outside candles that much, and I don't use shooters or hammers either, right? Shooting stars, hammer candles, all this stuff. They kind of go over my head because I don't really find success with them. But two downs, two ups, two downs, two ups, and ups, two downs are very good. And if you have a two up with an inside candle, are good as well. And then you have the inside candles right here, and the inside candles. Then on this second column, you're gonna have the double inside candle, and on the third column, it's gonna have the triple inside candle. So let's see what Walmart did today. We have a double inside candle on a green month. Let's see what Walmart did today. Okay, so there was a small break of it. So I guess you can call this a fail setup right here. Somewhat of a fail setup. You have a broke you broke out of it. You open above it. So this falls on the category that it failed. It was only a small poke of it. You have a two inside candles right here, and it didn't expand to the upside. Perhaps you wanted to still be looking at this on the close. If by any chance this recovers, it's most likely you're still gonna see expansion to the upside. It's a little bit extended from the daily 20. So if the daily does not close, does not recover, I'll probably have to wait to see if you have like a setup on the daily 20 or something, or this may start looking to expand to the downside instead, right? Because the inside candle failed to break to the upside. So like I said, it doesn't work all the time, but you're gonna have large moves when it does. Okay, large moves. So we got that double inside candle right here. Did not work. Names that you do not recognize a lot, you kind of want to skip them, because we play options do not really care about stuff that is not liquid. The options market got a little bit thin last year. Last year, like 2020, 2021, had a lot of option volume, I guess, or liquidity across a lot of tickers. And then 2022, you could see that there was a shift happening, right? There was a lot of stuff that was losing volume, and then at the end of 2022, we start seeing a lot of the volume on the option trade being focused on mega caps and SPY SPX, right? For the retail side of this, and now you see a lot of tickers like 2023. It was a year where it was like, if you were playing anything other than large caps, you're gonna have to be fighting with spreads, like wide spreads, stuff like that, because it just was not uh yeah, the volume is not there on the same, the liquidity is not there, so they're not gonna be as tight as before. Like if you play, I don't know if how Neo is right now, but Neo was very, very, 1 cent spread, and then later on I found it to be like very wide and stuff like that. It's just not a lot of interest anymore on those. So we'll see. I mean, the market's ever changing, but this is what we got right now. Let's look at this. AMD had an inside day, like just right off the bat. Like, what do you see that has good options? Change, you know, AMD, Amazon, GL, MA sometimes, not all the time. Meta, Moderna sometimes, not even all the time. Microsoft, PayPal. Spy had an inside day. Did we get an inside day on Spy? Didn't we just expand it yesterday? Is this outdated? No, it did. It was an inside day. Sorry, it was an inside day on the prior day. So yeah, let me see the website again. Walmart, and that's it. Okay, so let's look at AMD and Amazon real quick. Nice, 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 guys. Did you guys not trade this? Inside day, you broke it. It would have been hard for me too, if I had seen this, because the prior day highs are right here. I probably would have waited for this level and never came, which never came, right? But can we then fill this gap on pre-market and bounce? Maybe after seeing this hourly candle hold, like it did.
Daniel.
Hold on. Maybe after seeing this candle hold like this, I probably could have got in and traded. But you can already see that this is an expansion from a daily inside candle to the upside, right? So the it's a little bit extended, but you know that this candle kind of, gotta think of it like psychologically. What would you do if you were a seller of AMD after seeing this candle, right? After seeing this candle, you go in and sell AMD short or whatever. Next day, it doesn't really hurt that much because you still, what, it closed at the prior, like it was flat. It closed at the prior day close, so it's flat on the day, right? But the next day, it's not going down anymore, right? You had this as an engulfing candle, whatever is in at the end of the uptrend. We start gonna start coming down. The next day, you find yourself in another situation where it's, so psychologically speaking, if you're a seller, you're gonna have to cover the shorts, right? So that tells you that this inside candle, instead of being it stopped the, I guess, the weight down and started being a compression, and then you have expansion today. And yeah, you can see it on the 5 minutes. It held right away. It held right away. This candle right here, the third 5 minute candle will kind of tell you that it's probably gonna head up from there. So I think didn't you caught it? You 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 caught it in it, Benny. I think. I think you mentioned it on DMs. I think you sent me a DM about it. Well, yeah, I think you said it in the morning. I think you told me on DMs. It was an analyst upgrade. Okay, so it had some kind of an catalyst to it. I really do not like to trade based off of upgrades or downgrades. I've been hurt by it in the past. Yeah, you had the TSMT, so that's good. Actually, Benny's is touching a very good point. So when you have a setup somewhere on the chart, like let's use AMD as an example. You have actually Benny, like this. We're gonna use Benny as an example. He had a setup on TSM, so that immediately will have you going through. Okay, where's AMD? What is AMD doing? How is AMD pre-market? What is Nvidia doing? Semiconductor sector, right? Look at Nvidia right there. Two down, two up on an uptrend. Look, what is SMCI doing, right? Well, oh my God, another high. What is MU doing? MU has a little bit of catch up to go. Qualcomm, stuff like that. That should immediately aim at. If you want this whole, look at AMAT. Wow, semiconductors are just on a tear, and you wanna look at probably at the whole sector, SMH, right? Or look at the SOXL probably. right? So your mind immediately should go like, okay, I'm playing this ticker that belongs in this sector. Let me look at the rest. You want to play Moderna? You know, you want to play Moderna, which looks interesting. Look, it's recovering the daily 20. Perfect tag today. Starting to look interesting. But Moderna was gonna. Where are you gonna look at Moderna? Back in the 2020 area, you were whenever you look at Moderna, you'll be looking at PFE as well. You'll be looking at AstraZeneca. Um, what was the other COVID COVID shots? I forgot. But that was back in the day, right? But something like that. You start looking at healthcare. You're gonna be looking at what is ABV doing, J&J, stuff like that, right? You wanna see if you have confluence on your trades, right? They're not exactly gonna behave the one you like the same as your stock, right? The one that you have your pick on. But if you have confluence on different on the whole sector, right? Like what is XLB doing whatsoever, right? Then I'll have my trade set up right there. You know what I mean? So yeah, it says Benny's like a mad example. Your analysis 100 times more than I did. I mean it's and this comes as second nature later on. Like I later on, whenever you're charting, it's just gonna be you're not even gonna think about it. This the moment you think about trading AMD, you're gonna start looking at Nvidia, TSM, and all this stuff, right? So, uh, so it's just whenever what are you gonna look for whenever you're trading Walmart, right? Costco, sometimes Kroger, Target, and they're not exactly the Target's even in the different sector, right? Target is in discretionary and Walmart is on staples. But you know what I mean, right? Or maybe you don't even have to look at stores. What if you want to look at the whole staple sectors, right? What is the what is I think waste management is part of the staples or is utilities either or probably utilities, right? No, I think it's staples. I don't remember. But anyway, you look at stuff that is on staples. I believe. I have a list right here. If you guys want them, I can give it to you. Right. Whenever you want to look at like, let's say I'm trading staples right here. I like to look at the XLP holdings. I have a list right here. What is ADM doing? What is Steve Lauren doing? WBA, Costco, Monster, Philip Morris. The sector is very wide. You'll see cigarette companies, retail stores, energy drinks, you know, um, cereal, chocolate, Kellogg's, Hershey's. The sector is very wide, but it's Clorox. But if you happen to find like there's sector wide move in the works, you can spot that move, right? Because we've been in a lot of trades where we just know we have analyzed that XLP is about to move. Okay, do we go just any XLP ticker? No, we just look at where we at, right? We have traded Clorox before CLX for some mad gains in the past. I mean, I think I remember Clorox being one of the most profitable ones that we had, like big percentage gainers in the past, right? It has to be last year or so. I think it was during this break or something. But we spotted, that the possibility on CLX and then the setup on XLP, all the stuff, all in combination of that. So, um, so there's that, right? So, what do you have? Let's see, what have we learned here? The look for confluence. That's the right. That's the like the main theme of this. The ticking the boxes and all that is confluence. So you have confluence on your trade, so you can take it. So you can put it even on your eyes, on your watch list. So right here, like I said, you're gonna be looking at the charts, and then you do your watch list. I used to type the setups. If you go back to MemberDD, I used to type the setups on the day before, but I found out that a lot of things will be invalid or not useful the next day based on pre-market. Either we had a gap down or we have a gap up, or it's just not the sector in that is hot on pre-market or whatever you want to call it. So you want to kind of make a watch list without just with a keywords, like a few keywords what you're looking for on the watch list, but not doing like a whole paragraph or whatever until the next day in the morning. Because you should, if you're gonna be doing the preparations, pre-market and all this stuff, you should be showing up to the markets an hour and a half before it opens. An hour and a half, whatever your time is. I know if you're in Pacific time, it's you're in the West Coast, it's just gonna be super early. And it's just this, just like Ascendancy, he runs in New York time, anywhere that he's at, right? Anywhere in the world. So I think if you're on the West Coast, you should also run in New York time as well. I run on New York time, right? My trading days, I woke up late today, but my trading days, I wake up 2 hours before the market opens, and then because the first half an hour I'm just like I don't know, man, I guess getting into a wake up state, and then an hour and a half to look for trades, to look for setups, see what the plan is, analyze the futures chart, analyze the sectors, analyze the pre-market that you're looking for, and then build your watch list before the market opens, you know. And yeah, sometimes you wake up 5 minutes before the market opens, you see a setup, you take it, and it works, Benny. But a lot of times, you know what's gonna happen when it doesn't work, whenever you lose money, you're gonna start bashing your head, saying like, "Oh man, well, what am I doing? I suck, man. Well, how come I'm not getting ready for this shit, right? I missed out on this. I missed out on that. I didn't fully analyze it or prepare, and I just, you know, I think I'd rather be prepared and fail than be unprepared. Being unprepared and fail hurts a lot more, if it makes sense. Because you can at least go back and say, okay, I did what I had to do. It didn't work, you know. And it's not gonna work 100% of the time. It's all right. But whenever it doesn't work because you didn't do your stuff right, it's yeah. Just put some effort, man. The results are gonna speak for themselves. The results are gonna speak for themselves. Um, the what's it called? So what do we do next? What do we look at next? So okay, doing the morning preparations and all this stuff, right? So what do we use as an example? Would you like me to do I guess, because it's not possible right now, but I guess a like what could have been the watch list today? What could have been the watch list today had I woken up early, right? How would you type that watch list? Or do you want me to just go back to one of the members ED that I had and just go over it? Or how would you want me to go over it? Because I think if you go back to it, it's pretty self-explanatory. Everything. I mean, it's very concise of what the chart, what I'm writing on the paragraphs. Like I'm just gonna go back in time to some random times, okay? Just anywhere, some random time. Let's see. Let's go back to the very beginning of it. Don't give me November. Give me more. I want to go back to, I don't know, sometime May or last year, maybe. Okay. Okay, let's do this. Okay, let's do this example. Okay, what is this? June 6th. I didn't do futures analysis. Usually I have a futures analysis. Okay, but let's do this one. LI. LI, we have a pre-morning gapper. So prayer sell, right? It's gapping up. You can see it on this picture right here. Pre-morning gapper. That currently trades above prior day's highs on an inside candle setup that triggers a break to the upside. So it means that you see on the daily, right? Inside candle right here, and this pre-market setup already has it has a trigger already. So it already triggered to the upside. Last week it met the daily 20 MA and bounced it off of it. It was our ideal entry, but we can still see continuation. So the ideal entry was right here, right? Because we get a tag of the daily 20, you get a swing or something. So we're gonna see if we get continuation. So let's go back to LI, see what happened. All right, and I wanna say that it may have worked, it may not have worked. June. When did this happen? 5, 6. Yeah, this is the candle, right? You guys see the inside candle? You see the tag of the daily 20? I don't remember why if we took this trade, we took it at the open, and it went through. You see the expansion. You see the solid candle that we have on the next day. I think it's there's a lot of things happening right here, guys. You held the daily 20, and not only you held it, guys. This is very key. When you do a perfect tag, like a little touch and go of the daily 20, it's even more. The market is just finding those buyers at the whenever it's not extended, whenever you have like a monthly average getting hit. You have the break, but then you have an inside candle. Compression. The next day you open, for this, the pre-market. This is what I wanted to go. I cannot go on pre-market on this. I can look at this on intraday because I don't think TOS can give me the inside candle. I mean, I'm sorry, the intraday action of this candle right here. But when one of the criteria on pre-market, let's go back to the example right here. The pre-market example is that you have a range right here. You already know that the prior day was already compressing. Look at this. It was already compressing. You divide this candle by 3 parts. And if you open above the third part, I mean inside or above the third part of the prior day range, is most of the time it's a long from the open. It's like from the get-go. Like that you see me every time, a lot of times coming into the market and okay, we're buying this at the open. Let's get it. Because most of the times that move, that compression is gonna resolve in the first 5-10 minutes. And if you blink, you miss it. Right? Man, I pick up a good example. Look at that. Break. Next day had a little bit of continuation, but and I know later on it went even higher, right? Like, but we're not. Or my analysis of what I'm trying to teach you gives you the perspective of what does the next daily candle can do. What are the next 2 daily candles at most can do? I don't know. I don't even know how people analyze stuff that can go up for weeks or months, right? Well, outside of being a fundamental play, right? But on technical analysis, I don't know, man. How do people even find the guts or something to hold something for that long?
I mean, you look at the monthly and weekly candles instead of the daily candles, right?
Well,
It's the same analysis, but they just like literally just scale up the time frame.
That's true. That's true. Like if you have and there's
You're looking at one daily candle in 1 year, right? They probably look at weekly candle in like 5 years, or they look at monthly candles in like 10 years or whatever. So, right, like
that's true. That's true. So one of the sayings that I use a lot is that if you use a 5-minute setup, you're gonna get 5-minute gains. Not that the gains are gonna show up in 5 minutes, but basically you're gonna get whatever a 5-minute candle range can give you gains. If you have a daily setup, which is what I do, you have a possible gains that a daily candle range can give you. So it makes totally perfect sense that if you open do your charting and you do your trades on the weekly or monthly, you're gonna get a weekly range or a monthly range. You know what I mean? So it does make sense. I could probably dive into more weekly trades, but I mean weekly setups. But I don't know. I guess this is the trader that I have become, right? But I guess since it has been working, I kind of stuck to it, right? And but yeah, yeah. The you're very right to what you said right there. You're very right. Uh, and that's what a lot of people fail to see. Like a lot of news traders fail to see that the magic, the moves are whenever you look at this on a very large time frame, which is at a minimum of a daily perspective. Because when people a lot of times think that they can just go in, look at the chart intraday, not even know what the daily is doing or where you are on the daily, and then go like, oh, just my 8 EMA just crossed the 20, let me buy. I don't think so, man. I don't think so. And so yeah, good thing that you point that out. Let's go into that next the same day. Let's see what MU. Oh fuck, I hate MU. It says MU. Everybody's talking about this one, so I figure I should take a look. Oh, I remember. I wasn't even looking at MU on the scan or anything like that, but like a lot of people were like, okay, I want to get into MU. I want to get into MU because I think Break called for an MU trade, and everybody was like, I think everybody was on it. Jason K was on it, I think, or I don't know, something. It says, we're about to see the daily 20 MA, which I consider a pretty strong entry. The last bounce from it was not exactly at it, but pretty close. We'll be joining a small position with 2 weeks out at that level, main target 71.51. So let's open that picture. So people are long MU from before, I know that. From all these candles right here, I think from the day before this, the other candle that broke down like this. And you guys know that we don't just join any trade anywhere on the chart. And our criteria, a lot of times, it's just like here, it bounced close to daily 20. We're looking now that it's coming down to see if we get a daily 20 MA tag. Okay? And that's where we can enter. And I believe, from what I remember, this was a positive trade. This trade worked. So, what I remember is that we came out green on MU while everybody was still red. And I'm not trying to diss out on Break or anything like that, but that trade never came back because it didn't play out. It didn't play out. And my trade didn't actually trigger, actually. Did we? Oh no, yes. My trade was green, but didn't actually play out to what I was looking for, because what do we say right here on the main target right here? It says right here that it's 71.51. So if you see right here, this daily candle, we waited, right? It opened right here on a gap down. The next day it gap down, and we waited and got this entry. So during the day, I don't remember how much a percentage this went, right? But during the day, this thing rallied up to the upside from our entry. Because it went, I remember this day. I remember this day because people were asking, like, people were happy that they saw my trade working, thinking that their trade that they already had from before was going to start working as well. But this is where this thing can fail, and if you have a good entry, you can manage it. Just like I have the argument a lot sometimes with Cloud that if the trade's going to work, the entry doesn't matter. And sometimes it's just, what if it doesn't work? You still get a good entry. Like right here, you get the good entry. You get, I don't know, I'm just going to throw a number, 100% plus gains right here. You already cut out half or more of the trade. You're risk-free. This thing pulls back, and you still have to stop down, right? You put a stop at break even or something, The next day it opens higher, and you still have your stop loss at break even or whatever, because you join right here and it comes down and triggers it. For sure it triggers it on this pullback, and then you're out of the trade. No more. But you made money from here to here. Now all these people that joined the trade right here, yeah, they want to see the bounce of the daily 20, but they don't get satisfaction from it, right? And this wasn't even on my radar. I wasn't even looking to trade it, but there was just a lot of talk about MU this, MU that, because people joined the calls right here. So I think it serves as a good example that entries do matter and management do matter, right? The entry mattered right here because we were able to make money and other people were not. The management, you know, comes into play as well. You book profits around you book profits around, whatever your target is, your percentage gain, and then you stop down in profit or a break even on the rest of your contracts because that's management. If the trade would have worked, your stop doesn't get hit and you still get all that upside. This was the aim. The aim was to fill this gap right here of 71.51 right here. This was the aim. At a minimum, this was actually a long-hanging fruit target for me because I don't know what break was aiming that day, but I know for me that from the way I analyze the chart, like, okay, I see at the inefficiency, I see we can tag the daily 20. Why not? Let's get in. Let's see if we can tag this, and let's see if we can take some contracts, have some runners for more. It didn't happen, right? But there was some gains on it, that trade. That's a good example. And I'm going by these examples not to brag about or anything like that. I just wanna show you guys what the paragraph says. Like it's very simplistic in my opinion, right? It said we're about to see the daily 20 MA, right? We're about to see it. We're not there yet. We're about to see it. I consider a pretty strong entry. Last bounce from it was not exactly at it, but pretty close. We know that right here. It's like I put the shade area right there. And that's it. We'll be joining a small position with 2 weeks out. That was the whole idea, guys. That was the whole idea. Doesn't even take to say. There's a lot of stuff that I guess I could have said, right? I guess I didn't mention it, but there's a gap that I'm aiming for sure. Like I know myself, right? I was aiming for this gap. And that was it. That was the only ticking boxes that I had. Daily 20 MA tag, previous bounce off of it before, gap above. Let's try to aim for some upside trading to that. What else did we have that day? TSM. TSM, it says on the same vein, this is on the watch as well. What I mean on the same vein, it means like if we have a daily 20 MA tag. I think this was a very profitable trade from what I remember. It already made the bounce of the daily 20 MA, so seeking for continuation. Big dragonfly style candle. I don't really use those candles, but you can already see, right? We tagged the daily 20 very close to it with a very impulse higher, like it was a touch and go. And what you have right here, I didn't even put it, but you have right here as a 2 down, 2 up possible strat, right? Like it came back down, it's 2 down. The next candle breaks this candle highs, and then you start coming in higher. But it's not only a 2 down, 2 up, but we also tagged the daily 20. So let's look at TSM. Let's see what happened that day. Look at this, right? You see this move up. You see this break right here. You take the trade because it broke right here. I like to see the intraday to see what happens, guys, but it's too far dated on TOS that I'm not gonna be able to see intraday. But basically, right, it went up from there, and then we went plus more than that right there. So TSM worked. I'm pretty sure it was a green trade, right? Maybe it wasn't that big of an expansion, big candle that you would have hoped for, but it was still a good trend. And if you are on the daily perspective, a bounce of the daily 20 is to be for even a breaking, like it's for trend continuation, right? Just like we had a bounce of the daily 20 right here, break higher, whatever news came out. Daily 20 MA tag, break higher. You can actually aim for the trend to continue higher, right? So for it to break this high and continue swinging forward. But I do focus on day trade, so most likely than not, I probably took out everything right here on TSM. On this, not right here at the top, but on this daily candle. If we traded it, because I had to remember, guys. Bava says right here, I think I see an opportunity on Chinese stocks. This one probably failed because Chinese stocks were hard last year. It says pre-market on Bava has it right at the daily 20 MA. pretty good level to risk on with a 2 down, 2 up straight reversal candle. Looking for a possible move to the upside to the daily 20 MA. I mean, I meant daily 50 because it's a blue one right here. Breaking 83.50 invalidates the trade. Okay, let's look at this. We have a possible 2 down, 2 up. We have the possible daily 50 right here, and we know that 83.50 is invalid level. So 83.50 is the prior candle's open with the daily 20. So if you break that, it's invalid. So let's look at BABA real quick, what happened on that day. Okay, so I see the setup right here. It actually broke the invalid level and it bounced later. So the trade did end up expanding and the daily 50 was the aim. So everything worked right there. I guess there was a bad color right here to call this the invalidation level this, because I called the invalidation level this right here. If I could go back in time, and this is hindsight 2020, in reality, the invalidated level is below this candle low, right? Because if you don't take out the, like I said, most of the candles will only take out one extreme, right? Most of the time, either highs or lows. So you think about it like that. If you don't take out the lows, most likely you're gonna go take out the highs. So I guess the invalid level should have been below this candle low right here, the daily candle low. But if you notice, to no surprise, we can break out this candle highs and we have a pretty large expansion, I would say, into the daily 50. So it's no magic. It's setups. 2 down, 2 up means a bull flag, recovery of the daily 20. Boom chakalaka to the upside into the daily 50. My blue line is the daily 50, my red line is the daily 20. So I think the paragraph is very clear, guys. It's very clear, right? There's nothing that, like, what? How long does it take you to read this, guys? How long does it take you to read this little paragraph? And actually, now that I'm leaving the VIP and all that, it's not even about reading my setups, but how long does it take you to even write that paragraph, to do it yourself, for you to put that effort to write 2 to 3 sentences of what you look for in the chart, what you see right there, and then go and hit it. Does not take long, Benny. Does not take long at all. Trust me. Finding the stuff, finding the, scouting is the longest part of your train analysis, but the analyzing it, putting a little paragraph together, taking a little screenshot here and there, does really not take long. Does really not take long. And that's why I have you. But this is what I've been discussing, guys. I know that the VIP service, a lot of times people join in because of the alerts, right? You come in for the alerts. But I do myself, I find motivation knowing that you guys are learning to fish as well, right? Like, you're learning to read those candles, you're learning to find those setups, and off you go, right? Like, it's is more productive for you in the long run that you do this by yourself, right? This is, like I said, part of the scouting is a long part of doing this in the morning, right? It's the longest part. It's not long, but it's the longest. Finding the cojones, cabrones. Finding the balls to take those trades. That will be the second longest part of it, right? Because you have to convince, when you write this, when you look at the chart and you write the paragraph, you're convincing yourself that there's something there, that you're seeing something, that there's a trade right there, that you're witnessing a setup. You're convincing yourself by writing it, by typing it, by putting it together. It's not about manifesting, guys. People are like, you manifested it's gonna happen. No, bullshit. You're convincing yourself it's gonna happen, or that it has happened, that it's gonna happen, or not only that, but that it has high odds of happening. Because I never want to say like, oh, this, and that gonna happen. 'Cause that's not the way I wanna. That's the way I don't do. That's not the way I do things. Like I'm gonna put it on stone or something like that, right? I could be wrong. I could be right. I wish I had like a percentage number, just like when you see people playing poker. Like lately, I've been watching a lot of poker, right? There's like when you watch tournaments and all this stuff, like it shows a little percentage gainer. Like okay, this has a percentage. This guy is leaning more towards Wayne than the other, right? And I wish there was a number right here. Like this is a 70% odds that we're gonna go higher. No, it's a lot of intuition right there. But but yeah, a lot of intuition and just discretion. A lot of discretion. No, it's just a lot of discretionary trading. Okay, like it has a high odds for me. I'm gonna call it 80-20 right now. 80 that is going to the upside. 20 is going down. You know. Let's see. Oil stocks are all opening on a gap down, watching no name in particular, but usually they tend to go fill the gap plus more. Like yesterday, now only on the opposite side. So let's look at any oil stock. Let's look at XOM, which is like the usual. On January 6th, this one right here. Also, this is another thing, right? You spot a theme that happens a lot. I don't know if the theme is still on, but a lot of the times when oil stocks were gapping lower, they will recover. And this is what happened that day. This is the close on the January 5th and January 6th. We opened right here and it went up like that. I don't know if we pulled off a trade on that, but the general idea was only that. That doesn't even take long, right? Doesn't even take some very hard analysis to know that they've been doing that for weeks. Like if you have multiple screens, I urge you to put a couple of oil names on your side charts, and you'll notice that all the time. Like, okay, we're gapping lower. This thing likes to recover those gaps. Or either way, like on the prior day, what do? It gap up higher. And what it do is still clear the gap plus more. Then the next day, it did the opposite, open lower, and it cleared the gap plus more, right? So there's a theme. There's a theme right there. And it doesn't take some fancy analysis or anything like that. It just takes some basic stuff, right? And next up on that day, it was Amazon. It says right here, holding pretty well on pre-market. If it manages to open above or prior day close, could be a nice long to take out Friday's highs and possibly head into another resistance. Let's look at what Amazon did that day. Is it January 6th? Okay, so it opened close to it and it took out those. I'm guessing this is Friday. I don't know if it's Friday or not. January 6th. No, January 2nd. Yeah, if you notice, this is January 5th and this is January 2nd. So definitely this is Friday. So Amazon was on watch because it's a little bit extended from the daily 20, but we're only looking like, okay, it's holding, it's strong, and it's about prior, it's opening on the, like I say, I didn't type it, but it's basically like if you divide the candle on 3 parts, this range, it's opening on the upper third. So you're looking for a breakup prior to this highs to take out this high plus more, right? Because we know that the candles most likely take one extreme out plus more, right? Not only by a cent or something, by plus more. So if we know that, we're looking for a break of this and let's see how it goes, right? We have multiple resistances and whatnot, but probably we took out profits right here or so. We took this trade, I don't remember. But this was a trade that also worked, right? A daily candle that went up like this. So that day, and I picked it randomly, okay? You saw me. That day turned out to be very good analysis, very good trades. And it's because of homework. Because we're putting in that effort to go look at the scanner, to see what they're doing on pre-market, to see what the location of the candles are, to see what the probabilities, to understand the setups. All the stuff, guys. Okay? All that stuff. It's not coincidence that we are able to pull off these trades on some random ass tickers sometimes, right? Like how come, like we're trading some large caps all the time, and how come on one of the days I just come in and throw a fucking low trade, you know? Because we're scouting, we're looking, and the scanners that you see right here that we show on the website, it's only S&P 500 stocks. So I'm thinking TSM is not part of the S&P 500. Most likely not, because it's a Taiwanese company, right? So the it won't show up on the scanner, right? So you do have to be do a little bit of scouting, so you can find stuff like whenever Neo is in play, whenever LI is in play, whenever, you know, I don't know, any stock that is not on, or Bava, stuff like that, is not on the S&P 500, right? So over here, the scanner is only gonna show you the S&P 500 stocks, which to me, I think it's more than enough, because they're the most optionable trades, you know, the best options, trades for options and stuff like that, right? NCLH, MGM. Let's see what NCLH did today. Oops. Look, NCLH has an inside candle. Still an inside candle, relatively. I guess it poked by a little cent. It's on a downtrend. It's on the bear scanner. If this expands, if this is a rejection of the daily 20, it has a possibility of expanding to the downside. You know? So this is where the scanner, no, I don't think I will have opened this chart. This most likely gonna start doing some legs downs. We'll see. But I wouldn't have opened this chart if it hasn't been for the scanner. So everybody uses different scanners, but this is like I said, this is a scanner that we're looking at, right? The one for the S&P 500 tickers with the strat combos. It says, I don't want your alerts. I want you to help me analyze my alerts. That's good. Actually, I mean, everybody has an argument. What I spent, my apologies for yesterday. This session was going to be for yesterday, but I went on a hike. I didn't even go to run some errands. I needed to talk to a friend. I was trying to vent the decisions that I'm taking right now. Why am I quitting the VIP? What is the next step? Should I have done it? Should I have not? All the different variables, right? And my friend had a lot of pretty good arguments. Like I think a lot of one of the big reasons is that for me quitting the VIP is like it went into it's in another direction that I think the VIP was the intention for, but not my intention, right? Because my intention was for me to like, okay, we have a group of like-minded individuals, and I have two eyes, Benny has two eyes, Buclaw has another two eyes, and suddenly we have 100 eyes on the market. And then these things don't slip out of our hands at all. We're just going after those trades, those setups. We're building some high odds stacking up on our favor. So, and it sounds a little bit selfish that I was kind of like aiming for that. So it didn't happen, and it's all right. But I think, like I said, my friend has a very valid point that the VIP service is not necessarily for that. That even though it was my aim or something like that, where people are coming in and paying for their membership is a lot of times it's for that, for the trades, for the alerts, to make some money, to multiply your income that you already do for more. Very understandable. And I tell my friend that I'm probably the worst consumer of all. Like if I cannot get hired to pitch in a new service or a new product because I don't buy shit at all. I don't spend my money that much, you know. Like I'll invest on some other stuff and everything, and I'm the worst consumer, right? A lot of times, like the Google and Facebook are so successful because of how much ad revenue they have, right? And to me, it's like Like I actively avoid looking at ads, right? Either using ad block or even closing my goddamn eyes to whenever I see an ad crossing my mind. So to me, it's like, why are they even making money, man? Because I either try to avoid the products that could come out on ads, but I guess I'm the worst consumer because I know there's probably people, that are making their purchases because of the ads that they're shown, they see the ad, they click on it, they go in, and I don't know, they're paying for that course, they're buying this for their pets, whatever it is. But I guess I don't do it. If I want something, I look for it. I don't need something to be shown to me. But that's why I'm the worst consumer. I don't know what the consumer wants because I'm not one. And I think of it like it applies to the VIP room as well because I'm not a consumer for rooms like this, right? And so I'm the wrong people to ask. So I had a different aim for it, which is fine. Yeah, it's fine. Like I said, I already made peace with it, and I think I'm ready to move for the next step and blah blah blah. Right? I already went over this rant before. You just pay to hang out with me. just pay to have friends. I mean, it's totally understandable. It's everybody will have their own reasons, right? Hold on, let me answer a phone call real quick. All right. So it says I need someone to tell me when my ideas are crazy. I mean, I do think it's very unique that we're the only group that hopes on BC every day. Is it? I thought Alex on BC every day too. You don't have access to Panda's room ascendancy, by the way? Oh, well, but you never scroll down to see if they're on voice chat. Oh, I get you. I get you. They only during workshops and yeah. Yeah. And at the end of the day, guys, you're not even gonna become a trader like Kubitos trades, right? They're not gonna. You're gonna be your own trader. But I think you will end up picking something up from it.
Order filled.
You know what I mean? I think you'll pick up some from it. You'll make it your own. You make it your own. You're gonna do your own trades, and everything's gonna be good and dandy. It'll be Benny's VIP soon. The Anti-Cube, Analysis, Pure Vibes Trading, Order Fill. Circle VIP. What does that mean? Circle VIP. Like it's not cube, it's a circle now. A sphere VIP. It's a sphere, not a circle. Smooth brains, please. Trading based off of
Order
feelings.
filled. Order filled. Order filled.
Breaking down, we're breaking down.
Order filled.
I'm gonna start the recording right here, and then we'll continue tomorrow.